Welcome to the marvelous Vindusmekk channel. Oh yeah. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the scales on a Wenger Evolution Swiss Army knife. And please note that this procedure might damage your knife if not proper caution is taken. Also, keep in mind that the Evo knives will only fit the more recent classic scales, manufactured after the 2000s, on account of the rivets. I ordered some scales on eBay from a Russian fellow named Stas, a nice guy who was kind enough to write me a postcard thanking me for my purchase. So if you want scales, definitely check this guy out. Now, an easy way to identify these scales and their compatibility is to look for the embossed Wenger stamp on the right side. That means the rivets will align with the more recent Evolution models, like this one. So this is the Evolution Camper 17, a very versatile yet lightweight knife for everyday carry. The molded handles was a great innovation from Wenger, and they are very comfortable to grasp, and they feel good. But I prefer the classic handles, mostly because they remind me of my first Swiss Army knife I got when I was like 9 years old. And my first Swiss Army knife was a Commander, I think. A really good knife with a locking blade. And I remember I cut my finger really bad in the store that day, so I bought it since it was already covered in my blood, you know. And the woman behind the counter, she didn't even offer me a band-aid. But who needs a damn band-aid anyway? Now let's get started here. Now, all you need for this is a small slotted screwdriver and a thin blade. A vise is also recommended, but you may also manage with a piece of cloth lined inside some pliers. Be sure to remove both the toothpick and the tweezers. Then take your screwdriver and stick it inside the slot for the tweezers. And now with a small amount of leverage you should be able to pry open the bottom of the scales, carefully. And once this has popped open, grab a thin blade and carefully pry the scales off, like this. Now, like I said before, be very careful during this step. Now, if you inspect the rivet patterns on the Evo scales, you'll see that they are slightly different to the classic scales. But the classics will still fit since they are manufactured with both patterns. However, if you would attempt to fit older scales on the newer rivet patterns, you would fail hard. That cannot be done. So always make sure to check the patterns on the rivet before swapping scales. And to fit the new scales, I'm going to put it in a vise, since we are dealing with a flat surface for clamping. The good advice is to extend the corkscrew out of the way. This will help to get a nice plain surface inside the jaws of the vise. Now we move on to the vise. And remember, these knives and these scales are very hard to get these days, so be very careful not to apply too much force when fitting these scales. And there you go. If you follow these steps carefully, you should end up with a nice result. And I know that fitting these scales can be tricky and doesn't always turn out the way you want, but I'm feeling pretty good with this. Now it's like a nice classic Wenger that feels and looks just like my old trusted companion. It's a job well done, you might say. Yes. And I got this knife from a very good friend of mine. as a gift for my recent fatherhood when my beautiful daughter was born on the 7th of February this year. So this knife will always be very special to me and has truly earned its place in my collection. So, thank you very much for watching, and please leave a comment down below if you have any questions.